So the vulnerable narcissist, whether he is or isn't, any man who still is attached to the grief. He's married to a dead woman. They start off interested in you, but give you less and less sentences as you pour out more of your heart. Because, oh, you were so close, you had such a great conversation. You listened to him, he listened to you, you found out more about him. Or so you think. Hey, on a personal essay note, this is what I found out, that I'm recognizing that a person can be really good. Oh, well, your wife died, and oh, she was very depressed for 2 years. Oh, and it says online in her eulogy that she had a tragic ending. So I'm assuming it wasn't expected. Was it suicide? That's all I wanted him to tell me. Like, oh, there's a big elephant in the room and you're not talking about it. Did I really have to push it? Yes. Because I'm not going to be with a man who's emotionally unavailable. So he's a good guy. I could have played his little act. I could have let him bleed me dry so he could look at a woman's face that's dead on the table, across from me, aside from me. Doesn't matter. Or I could see what it is, and it's a situation in which I see there's a no-win for myself, who has come to know and love myself so much that I deserve better. I deserve a man who has a picture of me living in his life, loving him and being loved by him on his phone when it rings. Do I want to replace her? No. Do I want to be his partner? No. Depression is from usually not being touched or reached. And in the time I got to speak to Mr. Bumble, the grieving widower in the cloak, I got to find out he had mommy issues. So the vulnerable narcissist, whether he is or isn't, any man who still is attached to the grief. He's married to a dead woman. He's not available. And he's especially not available to a woman who's grieving an empty casket. I'll link that story below. For those of us who have never had the sincere and true love of a husband who husbanded us, who doesn't criticize us for everything under the sun and then some, and never ever says, thank you, you raised my children beautifully, you're doing such a good job, that you receive criticism because that was your childhood. That's all you heard from your mother. This was normal, right? Well, it wears on you after a while. So am I going to look at this poor grieving widower and feel anything other than a mild bit of annoyance that he has the audacity to go out there and unconsciously, consciously, whatever, prey on vulnerable women who actually want love, who have love to give, but he didn't expect to find, or whatever, surprise, a woman who's like, we need to talk about your wife's death and why there's so much grief hanging in the air around you for this to go any further. When I discovered every single one of my husbands was out for themselves and themselves only, I thought I had value. And that's the mean people are like, oh, well, look at her, no wonder. No. Be gone, oh toxic demonic troll. The truth of the matter is there's an awful lot of broken men out there and broken women who are messed up in the head and programmed by their childhood will attract them. So we're not going to take it lying down anymore, are we, girls? No. We know what we've been through. We know we've been in the front line. And then we come back and we want to be able to like rest on our laurels, meaning recover from the turmoil. And then you have people telling you something must be wrong with you. No, there's so much right with us. Be gone, oh toxic demonic troll. I was telling and expressing to you about Mr. Bumble, the first and last date of 2024. I'm not going to be with a man who's emotionally unavailable. Any man who still is attached to the grief. He's married to a dead woman. He's not available. And he's especially not available to a woman who's grieving an empty casket. Thusly, this is where I say goodbye and wish you all the best. Cheers! Party! Everybody! I did it! I resisted. The love-starved child, the adult child of a narcissist is growing up. I didn't take the bait. And he says, I completely understand. All the best to you too. He now understands. Yes! So yeah, I could have said more, but I was succinct. I'm so proud of myself. So that's what breadcrumbing looks like. When a man tells you you're in the friend zone in so many words, and you really have precious time, you don't waste it on that. You'll always be second fiddle to whatever his whim is and whatever his level degree of healing is. So may he heal. No, I am not willing to be your friend. Thanks for asking. I am not willing to accept the offer to rely upon him for somebody to accompany me. No, I would go alone. Perchance I met some cool single guy. Why would I drag this guy along? You know what I mean? I wanted to sew that story up because this is storytelling and relationships and all. Observations. Looking back, 2020 vision and then some. And what I have learned along the way. And so, I'll get on Bumble again when I'm good, darn, and ready to. But right now I'm dealing with the oyster guy, and I don't want to take on anything on my plate during the holidays. So I'm giving a break until 2025. Focusing on family and all that good stuff. And just rewriting my profile. And as long as I don't swipe right, I don't get anybody, sniffing up my skirt or wasting my time. No, I would go alone. Perchance I met some cool single guy. Why would I drag this guy along? The world is a stage in a lot of ways. But remember, you're the main attraction to your own life. Remember that. I'll be fine here. What you waiting for? I'll be fine here. Just hanging around. I'll be fine here. By the window. I'll be fine. You get to be you now. I get to be me now. We're narc abuse escapees, and now we see so clearly the forest for the trees. Talk to you all later. Much love.